This is Billy Joey and you are listening to IBG News Golden Hour News Podcast Episode 4 on 23rd of November 2022. Takeda's Biologics License Application, BLA, for dengue vaccine candidate, TAC-003, has been granted priority review by U.S. Food and Drug Administration. TAC-003 is being evaluated for the prevention of dengue disease caused by any dengue virus serotype in individuals 4 years through 60 years of age. New York and Mumbai, November 23, 2022. In a media intimation, it was told by the organization that, today the U.S. Food and Drug Administration, FDA, has accepted and granted priority review of the Biologics License Application, BLA, for TAC-003, the company's investigational dengue vaccine candidate. In the U.S., TAC-003 is being evaluated for the prevention of dengue disease caused by any dengue virus serotype in individuals 4 years through 60 years of age. Dengue is a mosquito-borne virus endemic in more than 125 countries, including the U.S. territories of Puerto Rico, the U.S. Virgin Islands and American Samoa. Incidence of dengue has increased globally over the past 2 decades and is a leading cause of fever among travelers returning from Latin America, the Caribbean and Southeast Asia. If approved, we believe TAC-003 has the potential to become an important dengue prevention option for healthcare providers, and we continue to be encouraged by our discussions with the FDA, said Gary Dubin, M.D., President of the Global Vaccine Business Unit at Takeda. This year, of the 888 dengue infections in the U.S., 96% were a result of travel to dengue endemic areas. Of the 316 dengue infections in U.S. endemic territories, 97% were locally transmitted. At Takeda, we are guided by our commitment to serving these affected populations and are fully committed to working with the FDA to advance this filing. The TAC-003 BLA is supported by safety and efficacy data from the pivotal Phase 3 tetravalent immunization against dengue efficacy study, TIDES, trial, where the dengue vaccine candidate met its primary endpoint by preventing 80.2% of symptomatic dengue cases at 12 months. In addition, TAC-003 met its secondary endpoint by preventing 90.4% of hospitalizations at 18 months, and in an exploratory analysis, it demonstrated protection against dengue fever through 4.5 years, 54 months, after vaccination. The TIDES exploratory analysis showed that throughout the 4.5-year study follow-up, TAC-003 prevented 84% of hospitalized dengue cases and 61% of symptomatic dengue cases in the overall population, including both seropositive and seronegative individuals. Currently, TAC-003 has not been approved by the FDA or any other health authority outside of Indonesia. Following the approval of TAC-003 in Indonesia, Takeda will continue to progress regulatory filings in other dengue endemic and non-endemic countries. In October 2022, the Committee for Medicinal Products for Human Use, CHMP, of the European Medicines Agency, EMA, recommended the approval of Takeda's dengue vaccine candidate, TAC-003, for the prevention of dengue disease caused by any serotype in individuals 4 years of age and older in Europe and in dengue endemic countries participating in the parallel EUM-4-all procedure. The final step in the path to approval in Europe is a marketing authorization decision from the EMA, which is expected in the coming months. Regulatory reviews will also progress in dengue endemic countries in Latin America and Asia. You are listening IBG News Golden Hour podcast. Secretary Blinken's call with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy. Office of the spokesperson of USA State Department intimated that spokesperson Ned Price has informed that Secretary of State Anthony J. Blinken spoke today with Ethiopian Prime Minister Abiy Ahmed about efforts to bring lasting peace to northern Ethiopia. Secretary Blinken recognized ongoing efforts by the Ethiopian government to work towards unhindered humanitarian assistance and restoration of basic services in the Tigray region as well as in the neighboring Afar and Amhara regions. The Secretary underscored the importance of immediately implementing the cessation of hostilities agreement, including withdrawal of all foreign forces and concurrent disarmament of the Tigrayan forces. He noted that the United States remains committed to supporting the African Union-led process, including the AU monitoring and verification mechanism. IBG News Golden Hour is now available on Google Podcast, Spotify, Amazon Music, Acast, and JioSaavn like leading podcast platforms. Thanks for doing it, a desired news podcast service, and we are hearts full of gratitude towards our viewers. Thanks for listening. Wait for the next episode of IBG News. This is Billy Joey and you are listening to IBG News Golden Hour.
IBG News Golden Hour podcast. News read by Mirai. Joint announcement on the appointment of Academic Chair in Ayurveda by All India Institute of Ayurveda, AII, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Western Sydney University announced the appointment of a joint academic chair in Ayurveda. You are listening IBG News Golden Hour podcast. New Delhi, 22nd November 2022. Today, the All India Institute of Ayurveda, AII, Ministry of Ayush, Government of India, and Western Sydney University announced the appointment of a joint academic chair in Ayurveda. The new position aims to build capacity for the scientific validation of Ayurvedic medicine and aligned inventions such as Ayurveda herbal medicine, yoga and meditation. Through a competitive process, Associate Professor Sri Krishna Rajagopala from AII has been appointed as the academic chair in Ayurvedic medicine. Associate Professor Sri Rajagopala is currently the head of the Department of Comra Bhrithya, Pediatric Department, at AII. He brings 28 years of experience and expertise in clinical and pharmacological research of Ayurveda interventions for asthma, cerebral palsy, COVID-19, anemia and muscular dystrophy. In addition, Associate Professor Rajagopala has developed and led important international collaborations of the AII, including a Memorandum of Understanding, MoU, with Western Sydney University, Australia, and clinical research on long COVID with the London School of Hygiene and Tropical Medicine, London, UK. The Ministry of Ayush has established a program for Ayush academic chairs in foreign institutions to foster research collaboration and strengthen cultural ties. This has added momentum to the ongoing initiatives of the Ministry of Ayush in placing India as a global healthcare destination. Western Sydney University is the first Australian university to participate in this prestigious global program, having signed an MoU in 2021 with the All India Institute of Ayurveda, AII, and Ministry of Ayush to jointly establish an academic chair in Ayurvedic medicine. The chair, which is jointly funded by the Ministry of Ayush and Western Sydney University, will be based at Western Sydney University's Nick Health Research Institute. This is a great step, and I am sure that this chair will strengthen our collaborations in promoting Ayurveda-based academic and collaborative research activities in Australia. This will certainly help in generating awareness about the potential of Ayurveda, said Vaidya Dr. Rajesh Kotecha, the Secretary of the Ministry of Ayush. The chair will provide leadership to develop collaborative research strategies to advance the scientific base of Ayurveda and promote the translation and integration of evidence-based Ayurveda interventions into conventional healthcare, said Professor Barney Glover Au, Vice-Chancellor and President of Western Sydney University. We welcome Associate Professor Rajagopala to Western Sydney University and look forward to this partnership with the Ministry of Ayush and strengthening ties between Australia and India, our governments, researchers and industry. Professor Dr. Tanuja Manoj Nesri, Director of the All India Institute of Ayurveda, AII, said that AII, under the aegis of the Ministry of Ayush, has signed a Memorandum of Understanding, MoU, with more than 15 premier international organizations including Western Sydney University. The academic chair from the AII is the first of its kind to be established and will focus on fostering collaborative research projects, developing short and medium-term academic courses, providing tutorials to students, conducting sensitization programs, workshops and seminars, and serving as a credible source of Ayush-related information for Australia. It is a matter of pride for us that the Ministry of Ayush has selected and debuted one of our senior faculty members, Associate Professor Rajagopala, as chair for this important mission, and we are sure that this initiative will pave new milestones in the India-Australia bilateral relationship through the efforts of the Ministry of Ayush in globalization of Ayurveda for the benefit of mankind, said Professor Nesri. Western Sydney University's NICM Health Research Institute Director, Professor Dennis Chung, highlighted the importance of advancing international science and research collaboration. This appointment marks a new milestone for our international research partnership with the Government of India and AI and is an important field of research which will help pave the way to evidence-based Ayurveda interventions, said Professor Chung. About Western Sydney University. Western Sydney University began operations on 1 January 1989 under the terms of the University of Western Sydney Act 1988, which had been passed by the New South Wales Parliament in December 1988. Located in Western Sydney, the heart of the nation's third largest economy and one of the fastest growing population and employment centres in Australia, the university offers unlimited potential to students with the talent, drive and ambition to succeed. Ranked amongst the top 2% of universities in the world, Western Sydney University values academic excellence, integrity and the pursuit of knowledge. The university is globally focused, research-led and committed to making a positive impact on the communities it engages with. The cultural capital of India, City of Joy, Kolkata, to celebrate the 8th Apeejyee Bangla Sahitya Utsav will commence on 25th November 2022. News read by Mirai, and you are listening IBG News Golden Hour podcast. The 3-day literary festival reverts to its on-site format at the century-old iconic Oxford bookstore at Park Street and would also be streamed online for global fans. Kolkata, 22nd November 2022. The 8th edition of India's first Bengali literary festival, Apeejyee Bangla Sahitya Utsav, APSU, curated by Oxford Bookstores, will commence on 25th November. During the 3-day festival, some of the most prominent names in Bengali literature and culture will present their perspectives on all aspects of Bengali Ana, Bengali culture, and literature. Due to COVID, the 6th edition of APSU was held virtually, while the 7th edition of APSU was conducted in a hybrid format. The final day of the event was a physical event, as opposed to the prior 2 days when it was conducted online. APSU is making a comeback this year in its typical offline guise. The century-old iconic Oxford bookstore on Park Street will once again serve as the venue for APSU, as it did in the years prior to COVID. Speaking about the 8th edition of the Sahitya Utsav, Swagat Sengupta, APSU Director and CEO of Oxford Bookstores, said, India's first Bangla literary festival, Apeejyee Bangla Sahitya Utsav, curated by the centenary-old Oxford Bookstores in 2015, is in its 8th year. Celebrating 100 years of Oxford Bookstore, we have suitably chosen the iconic Oxford Bookstore, Park Street, Kolkata, to celebrate books, music, art, film, and more with the finest creative minds of Bengal. After the unprecedented 2 years of COVID-19, this year the festival will be held completely on ground in its best physical format. The 8th edition of APSU will continue to support, promote and strengthen Bangla language through 27 specially curated sessions that delve deep into topics such as poetry, little magazines, illustrations, use of dialects, politics, youth literature, thriller, book publishing and editing, journalism and cinema in Bangla literature. APSU has grown over the last 7 years and is now celebrated and eagerly awaited among fans of Bengali literature and culture both in India and abroad. Keeping its global popularity in mind, APSU 2022 will be streamed live on the official Apeejyee Bangla Sahitya Utsav Facebook page and YouTube channel on all 3 days, 25th November 1926 and 27. This will ensure that Bengali literary enthusiasts from all over the world can immerse themselves in this literary and cultural extravaganza transcending time and geography. We are also keeping in mind the ease of access, active participation, flexibility of viewing the sessions at convenience, and interacting with the delegates at the same time through social media live streaming, Swagat Sengupta, APSU Director and CEO of Oxford Bookstores, added. The 8th edition of APSU will host eminent personalities like Pabitra Sarkar, Himadrai Kishore Dasgupta, Ashok Viswanathan, Samik Bandyopadhyay, Abul Bashar, Rupam Islam, Sujog Bandyopadhyay, Binod Ghosal, Khayali Dastidar, Rahul Banerjee Arunoday, Biswanath Basu, Jayanta Ghosal, Snehsis Sur, Tilottama Majumdar, Debasish Deb, Mandakranta Sen, Ullas Malik, Krishnendu Mukhopadhyay, Raja Bhattacharya, Deepanvita Ray to name a few. This eclectic curation has been done under the stewardship of former radio jockey Roy Chaudhary and as advised by Himadrai Kishore Das Gupta. To contribute to the success of the 8th edition of APSU, the festival will be supported by Zee 24 Ghanta as television partner and Anandabazar Patrika Online as online media partner and Cha Bar as refreshment partner. The supporting partners are Shabdabazi and Kobita Club. Exceller Books would support the 8th edition of APSU as session partner. Merchants Chamber of Commerce and Industry President Rishav Kothari informed that this year's MCCI Exim Facilitation Cell to be held on 25th November 2022 at 4:45 p.m. at MCCI Conference Hall at Chambers, Kolkata office located 15-B Hemanta Basu Sarani, Kolkata, India.
Thank you. This was an IBG News Golden Hour podcast. Have a nice time ahead. God bless you all. Bye bye.